Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, committee guidelines. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay attempting to beef up security. My name is Andrew Leos. I'm chairperson of the Budget Personnel and Ethics Committee of Bronx Community Board 7. The committee agenda is as follows. Number 1, meeting guidelines. Number 2, introductions, attendance. 3, review of previous minutes, if applicable. Number 4, follow-up from previous month, if applicable. Number 5, new business. A, Equal Employment Opportunity Policy, EEO. B, internal board budget regarding fiscal year 2023, which covers July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2020. Numeral 6, next meeting date to be announced. 7, discussion on next agenda. 8, adjournment. The rest of the committee guidelines. On September 20, I have them, I think they're current, not sure. On September 2nd, 2021, Governor Kathy Hochul signed into law Chapter 417 of the laws of 2021, which authorizes the community board to run this meeting remotely, and minutes will be taken for record keeping. Minutes will appear on our website within days and can be requested from the Bronx Community Board 7 staff at any time. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, use the controls from a landline or cell by calling the dial-up number. To hear all available commands, enter asterisk, asterisk, or star, star on your phone. Star 6 will mute or unmute yourself. Star 9 raises your hand, and please remember, which I always forget, when you're finished, do star 9 to lower your hand. We will run this meeting as follows. Code of conduct for the meeting. Penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or language, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees participant in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If in-person or outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace, and the authorities shall be summoned. Everyone besides speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have a question by pressing the raised hand button on your screen, Zoom, or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. That concludes the committee. So we will now go into I'm hoping on the screen, so Andrew Leos, the chairperson present. Eric Asensio.
Eric Asensio present.
Edgar Ramos. Eddie. Back to him. I see his image, so we don't hear you. I think you're on mute. Barbara Stronzer. You know that she is in attendance at another meeting and will do her best to jump in. The higher area. Edgar Ramos. I see your image, but I don't hear your voice.
That's me, Edgar Ramos. I'm going to be probably dropping off in a few. I'm at another meeting right now.
Okay. All right. We can proceed. We have a quorum. Review of previous minutes if applicable. Not applicable. Follow up from previous months. Nothing applicable. We'll jump right into the new business, which is the meat of the meeting. Equal employment opportunity policy is approximately like 8 pages long. It's on here for you to, you could click on the link on the agenda you all should have. I don't believe, in fact, it's 11 pages. Intention is for me to read it. Basically, it's for all of the board members to emphasize that you need to be aware of policy, pensions, service law, all aspects of employment policies and practices as they relate to selection, criteria, recruitment, hiring, separations, benefits, office sponsoring, educational tuition, and other terms and conditions. So we will now on to board budget, which, most of you know that's not to be confused with purely capital and expense budget that we do every year as a full board. So, Carlo, are you able to play the budget on the I'm just going to pause, a minute or so just for folks to kind of take a look at it. Sure you have questions. After you take a look at it, I'll just give some background, and we can entertain questions. So I'll give a full, minute. Okay, that's about a minute. Still there, so you can get it. My understanding is that all of the community boards in the city, same basic starting budget, which is that top line, $157,507 interest. Apparently, boards can and other boards do solicit additional funding. We have received from that Civic Engagement Commission grant of $2,000, and our council member, Karina Sanchez, supplied the board with $2,500, which gives us that total budget of $262,007. And as you know, or may not know, that each board, the rent that each board pays is paid directly by the city, and it does not come out of our budget. So, for example, a board in, Midtown Manhattan, with the real estate prices the way they are, the rent would be, $10,000 a month or whatever. And somebody like us in the Bronx would be a lot less. So, kill their budget if they had to pay that much money of their budget towards rent. So, okay, then have expenses. So hard fixed expenses that we don't control is the salaries. The board, of course, can vote, the full board would vote if they wanted to increase salaries above what the actual union increases were. But this is the budget. This is what you expect at the end of the year. This is what, of our 262,000, much of it would be staff salaries. So what's left is for the running of the office. We have office operations, printer, phone service, internet services, security, all these other things, which are monthly. Then we, as a board, have been really careful about getting into what I refer to as a lockbox, our tree lighting, annual tree lighting ceremony. So we know for sure it is going to be taken care of. That's on there. And we had, from the Civic Engagement Commission grant, Food for Three community engagement events was $2,000. So the city will not pay for food, so that grant enabled us to pay for food. Deep cleaning and weekly cleaning. The deep cleaning, of course, was a result of COVID. As you know, the office was closed for over a year, and we had rodent issues, et cetera, et cetera. Next one was the Balloon Artist Community Event, $300. So the total expenses were $249, which leaves a remaining balance of $12,600. We expect, again, this is a budget, so this is for the future. I don't know to the penny exactly what we will be spending money on, and that's community support and events, community event in Council District 14, source fair. It's all on the screen. Additional deep cleanings needed, $3,000. Forecasted credit. So we were very fortunate as a board that our former district manager was meticulous and completely aware of her responsibility to make sure that the board had enough funding to hire a new district manager fairly quickly. In other words, there are, as we have in the past, had district managers who left, who had huge amounts of unused money going to them, like vacation time. We were unable financially to hire a district manager for many, many months. So we were very fortunate. Our former district manager made sure that did not take place. That's why you see that credit there. And we have, forecasted what we have to pay, security, 4-in-1 desktop, air purifiers, hand sanitizers, motorized roller shade. As you know, our front window gets direct sunlight, less electricity use, more energy efficient. Office shredder, plexiglass, shelves, reception area furniture, pride event, veterans resource fair. If it's almost impossible, we come out to exactly spending, exactly to the penny, $36,685.81. That will give us a zero balance. Okay, so fiscal year, we know it ends on June 30th of this year. The new fiscal year starts July 1st. So this money has to be spent before June 30th, which means not the day before, because all of this has to go to the city. The city has to process it. The city handles all of this, all of the paperwork and all that. Anything we purchase has to be through, I shouldn't say anything, I think there's a dollar amount, but basically almost everything that is purchased has to use a city vendor. So anybody who wants to do business with the city has to apply as a vendor. I was thinking of amending the vendor, but I don't really need to because we are a free discussion. I did get communication from the chair of the Parks Committee, reminding the Budget Personnel Committee that the board voted to support the purchasing of a pride flag. So at some point, that's going to be added to this list. It's not a huge amount. I just did a quick look. It's basically under 100. But it will go back to Parks Committee to hash out locations and specifically where at that location it would be mounted, meaning that there's different kind of mounting hardware that's needed, so that's an expense. So, long-winded, I apologize, but I will open the floor for questions and comments. But, I'm sorry, before I do that, does anybody, does our esteemed chairperson, Carla, do you have anything to add to this? I mean, yeah, do you have anything to add?
I mean, the only thing I would add is that this is what we have budgeted for each item. Things that are a lot more expensive now. So the way that you're looking at things now, we might not be able to afford certain sections of it. Just the plexiglass, for example, we had initially budgeted about 1,500, and it actually cost us 3,000 to install the plexiglass in the office. So a lot of things are more expensive now. And so some of these items we, if you're seeing 3 air purifiers, we might only be able to purchase 2 if that's all that we're allowed to purchase with that money. But that's all I would add.
Yeah, it's, the whole idea of a budget is its flexibility. The government runs by budgets, and of course, things come up. Like just to bring an example, the migrants coming into the city, nobody could have anticipated that would happen. It's costing millions and millions and millions and millions. So we're no different. Things come up, and we have to be flexible and accommodating. Thank you. So anybody else have a question or comment? Board members? So, community member on there as MRAJ, the artist.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Thank
I think the budget looks very good. It's very well balanced. Good luck at keeping it at 0. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. I tell people that I'm proud that this board has never gone above budget, unlike many city agencies. One in particular that's over 100% over the budget. But so I'm very proud of that. And yes, we don't always spend every single penny. That does happen, but we try our best not to. Understand that, we are subject to the checks and balances of the city. They really are the ones who determine, exactly to the penny how much we have, and it takes time. And again, like I said, we have to spend this money by like the beginning of June. We cannot wait till the last day. It doesn't work that way with the city. Paula, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, Andrew, it's Chahira. No, just to say that the forecasting, because I know some people may see this and not understand it properly, but the forecasting is for us seeing what can happen in the future. And this is a good way to show people or to show other members who are not here how we come up with these things and show what they are, so that there is no misinterpretation and it's full transparent to everyone as to how these numbers come about, and specifically the fact that we must use city vendors. We cannot go outside of that.
Correct. Okay, seeing no hands, he has anything to add to this? Just be a quick
Wait,
thing.
Andrew, could you give Hugo a minute? So he was actually at the webinar, but it was too restricted and he couldn't really speak.
Of course, of course.
So if and he just joined right now, so if maybe he can have a minute to look at the budget over.
I mean, I think it's, of course, we're all aware, but it does need to be mentioned that, we now, the staffing of the board office is now in flux. It's changing. And we basically we can control this as a board, I believe, 2 positions that will become available at some point. And again, the city will handle this. The city will post the job. The city will determine range of salary, and the city will accept the applications, et cetera, et cetera. So just to be aware, nothing is out there yet, but just be on the lookout and be aware. Have one employee running show, tremendous responsibility, and I would just urge the board to be aware of that and maybe, spread the word amongst the other board members. Appreciate that and help out as best you can and not burden the one employee that we have. Hire, if you want to chime in, I don't know. We're waiting for Hugo. Oh, I think he's on now.
Yes, so just to add to what Andrew just said, we know, as we were informed, Jade is moving on in her endeavors, and therefore Carla will be the only staff member for a little bit until we get 2 new staff members to take over the positions that are vacant. I am always accessible as well. During the day, I have my regular job, but I am available via email, via text. I can make myself available in case of an emergency to help out if need be. So, I'm working very closely with Carla day to day. We communicate practically almost every day on things that have to do with the board. So in order to help out, if there's any emergencies, Carla and I are more than willing to help out as best as we can in the timeframes that we can until new staff come on board.
Hugo, I think you're on. I see your your name posted there. We're kind of waiting to see if you had any comments. You should have this.
Hi, no, I don't have any comment at this time because I just got on board. I have been trying to log in since 6:30
all of us.
and yeah, so I just got on board. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just going to observe and see what's going on. I see that there's some kind of expense report. Is it possible for me to get a copy of that, like a PDF or whatever document?
Sure.
The prior year's one?
Yeah, it's
I
public
would appreciate that.
information. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just you're probably aware, but I'll just quickly repeat it. This is regarding the fiscal year, right? It ends June 30th of 2023. The new fiscal year, of course, begins July 1st, 2023. So theoretically, we should spend every single penny up until the end of June. However, the actual expenditure, the spending of the money has to happen before that, because we're dealing with New York City. It's a bureaucracy. We have to use city vendors, and they need to process the requests, so we cannot wait for like 2 weeks before the end of June to put this through. We would get it done beforehand. And our district manager reminded us, not that we really had to be reminded, but because of inflation, the prices that we originally put down gone up. And so things are flexible. That's why it's called a budget. We have to be flexible, and we will do our best to spend money, but we will not. I will never let that happen. It's never happened with this board, and it won't happen. We will not go over budget like some of the other cities. So the next thing I wanted to discuss was one of our members who couldn't attend tonight mentioned that she would like to be able to have the committee meet on a regular basis. Always attempted to do that, and somehow it never seemed to work. There always seems to be something urgent that comes up. But I'm thinking of Mondays because that seems to not conflict with. So I'm just proposing this, and I'd like to hear feedback from the committee. Proposing to meet on the second Monday of every month when needed. Anybody have a scheduling?
Andrew, I would prefer
Okay.
that budget meetings should be quarterly. Monthly, I think it just, things may not change from 30 days out. Maybe every 60 days might be
Or
better.
more needed, right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So either quarterly, which will make it 4 meetings during the year, during the session, and try to do something like that, or every 60 days or so,
Okay.
versus every month.
So anticipation of filling the vacancies on the board, is it advantageous for the committee to schedule a meeting in May, or we think nothing's going to happen during the summer and we'll just wait until September?
Well, you have to remember the job posting goes up on the New York City website. That has to be up for 30 days. After that,
Right.
the whole process that we just went through, it's going to be the same exact way.
Right.
So I don't anticipate us having staff readily available until the summertime, maybe past June, unless the city or in the BP's office forces this to be a little bit faster. But as we just went, like I said, like we just went through this process, is 30 days the job postings have to be up. So we're already, we're already going into May. By the time June comes along, by the time interviews, we have a lot of things in the calendar for June, finishing up the year. My
Right.
guess is nothing is gonna happen till July, August, and then we can go into September.
So does that mean the board can expect to conduct some kind of business related to personnel in July and August, which is unorthodox, but, if necessary?
It could be a possibility depending how fast, the city moves, how fast things happen. Remember, we got to go through the posting, then EOMB has to approve interviews, the whole thing. And Carla, chime in if I'm missing something here.
Yes, no, it's definitely, there's a lot of steps to the process. I will, it's to my benefit to have staff by June. So I will try my best to make sure that the positions are posted and at least the process has gone along and gone through all the different steps of the votes at the executive and general, even if a start date for staff is in the summer. At least we have gone through the process already. But I have to have those conversations with the borough president's office, like Yahaira is saying, just to make sure that we're doing everything correctly and that we can actually do that. Do the interviews, have the positions posted during the month of May, and then do interviews and have the staff ready by the June executive meeting and then the general board meeting, even if a start date for that staff will be in July or August. Just because I think it's very helpful to have definitely more than one staff at the community board, especially as the summer months are coming, and we usually get a spike on community complaints, and we definitely need the hands.
Right, absolutely. So as usual, we have to be flexible and available and meet as needed, and we will not set a determined meeting day of the month for the budget personal ethics.
Yeah. Also remember, just because we are not in session in the summer months doesn't mean that an emergency meeting cannot happen. We can always have a meeting as we can do it via Zoom as long as the law allows. So we still have a little bit of leeway there because I don't see us going back in person until September. So in case of an emergency meeting, we will definitely make that work. Carla and I will, if I'm still chair in past June, we'll make that work and help and make it as easy as possible for everyone, should we get there.
Otherwise, I don't think there's business. Does anybody have anything like to discuss? Or entertain a motion to end the meeting?
Motion to end the meeting. Thank you, Andrew.
All in favor?
Second.
Thank you all, and thank you for your patience. We tried to beef up security, and we're getting there. It's taking time. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.